My dear friends, the gospel text is from Mark chapter 12 from verse 38 to 44. The first part focuses on Jesus criticizing the scribes for their hypocrisy. The second part talks about Jesus praising the widow for her generosity of the 2 small coins. The theme is giving without holding back. My aim is to explain the criticism by Jesus against the religious leaders, and also to explain why Jesus acknowledged the contribution of the widow. Holding a position of power, as we know, comes with privileges. It is a serious matter when people occupy positions of power and enjoy privileges, but fail to live up to the responsibilities that the office imposes on them. This was a problem of the religious leaders at the time of Jesus. The scribes, as we are told in the text, were honored in the synagogue, and that was the religious arena. Again, at the marketplace, they received honor. This comes with economic benefits. And finally, at banquets, they enjoyed the places of honor. This means that they had privileges also within the social settings. The conclusion, therefore, is that these religious leaders, in view of their office, enjoyed benefits from the religious, economic, and social settings. These privileges, my dear friends, were there because of the office they occupied. However, the office also enjoined on them a task to be performed. The role of leading the people to love God and also to love their neighbor. Unfortunately, they failed in carrying out these responsibilities. Rather, they kept enjoying the privileges. This was the reason for the condemnation or the criticism by Jesus. The religious leaders broke the first commandment, which focused on the love of God, by failing to give to God alone all the reverence and the adoration. Rather, they sought it for themselves. Again, they failed in keeping the second commandment, which focused on the love of neighbor, by failing to protect the poor in society, especially the widow, who were deprived of their property and cheated by the rich. The false piety of the religious leaders was repugnant and detestable. The point is that anytime we fail to carry out what is required of us by the office we occupy, and yet enjoy all the privileges, we to become like the scribes in the gospel reading. As Jesus warned, God sees false piety and injustice which the poor in society face, and this will surely be punished. For the second part, we read that in the temple, the rich people had put in large sums, and the widow put in only 2 small coins. Yet Jesus said that the widow had put in more than all the other contributors. What does he mean? The giving of the 2 small coins by the widow, as we are told in the text, was all she had to live on. Yet she gave all of them. This was an act of total self-giving, a giving without holding anything back. It was the giving of her all. This definitely is a classic example of what it means to love God with our whole heart, soul, mind, and strength. This contrasts the giving by the others who, according to the text, gave from their surplus. Again, my dear friends, the false piety by the religious leaders is also reflective of a type of giving which lacks the mark of total donation of the self to God. These religious leaders only focused on the gains to ministry and not the sacrifices to ministry. As we look into our society today, can we boast of Christians who are convinced of their calling and in view of that give themselves completely and unreservedly to God and also the things of God? In our Christian assemblies, do we have religious leaders who enjoy all the honor and privileges of their office by amassing wealth, while the members of the assembly have difficulty fending for themselves? In our churches, do we have people who take advantage of the weak in society, deprive them of their property, and yet receive honor because of their donation? Do we appreciate the sacrifices of the poor who out of their poverty yet make it to church and then give their widow's mite? How about those who give all their heart, soul, mind, and strength in the service of God? Do we recognize them? The other question is that the way we worship God, can we boast of the giving of the self completely to God like the widow did? And do we give grudgingly or wholeheartedly? These are questions, my dear friends, to reflect on as we continue with our onward march. May the widow in today's passage be a model of what it means to give without holding back. Before I end, let me humbly request of you to say a prayer of thanksgiving for me, as by the grace of God, today, November 6th, I celebrate my priestly anniversary, the gift of 17 years in the priesthood. May God bless you all. Amen.